Good morning, children. How are you? Hope everything is fine. Okay. Now, today I'm here again with a new topic. So, I think we have covered many of the topics under life skills, which are part of our communication skills and life skills 310P. Now, today, let me share with you another new topic, which is also one of the important life skills, which comes under an important life skill. Okay, and this is nothing but leadership skills. You should certainly gain some knowledge about leadership skills. So now moving to our next slide. Okay, here comes our today's topic, leadership skills. So I couldn't set P over here. Okay, leadership skills followed. This is our topic today, and it's a very common and familiar term because you have seen many leaders, emerging leaders and already emerged leaders, isn't it? But here, coming to the objectives, moving to the next slide, look at the objectives. So at the end of the unit, as usual, you will be able to know the leadership qualities, and there are different styles of leadership. Those also you will be knowing, because I will explain you in detail about the different types of leaderships, different styles of leaderships. Okay, so by the end you will know the leadership qualities, what actually a leader is supposed to be, what can be the qualities, what are the qualities to be inculcated to become a good leader or great leader. Okay, that you will know by the end of the lesson, I assure you. And another objective here, look, what's it? Understand the strategies to develop effective leadership. Followed. So if at all, if you want to develop effective leadership, if you want to become an effective leader, then what strategies you have to take up. Okay, that also you will understand, you will comprehend. And the third objective, coming to the third objective, is you will learn the importance of decision making. Yeah, a leader is supposed to take many decisions, isn't it? So it may be politics or it may be any field. He may be a leader he may be a youth leader or leader in some business era or something, in whatever he is. Leaders, there are different types of leaders in different fields. We have different leaders, isn't it? But they have to take decisions in the process of being a leader. They have to take many decisions. Okay, whatever the leadership may be, but sometimes they seek the advice of many and then they take a decision. But certainly they have to take some decisions, and you will learn about the importance of decision making and the procedure also for taking effective decisions. This is all you are going to learn by the end of this unit. Okay, now moving to our next slide. Okay, here, see, he's a leader. He's sharing something with others. Okay, here, the action of leading a group of people or an organization, it may be, or the ability to do this, the action. So that we call it as leadership. Leadership is an action of leading. He is leading a group of people, or it may be an organization, and that ability to do, that ability to lead some people, lead his followers. Okay, lead a group or address and supervise a group or a gathering or members of an organization or an institute or a office or whatever it is. So that action, that capability or that ability, we call it as leadership. Okay, followed. Okay, now let me share something about what actually is meant by leadership, about the concept of leadership. You know, if an individual has desire, if an individual has willpower, okay, so if he has got some desire and some willpower, then the individual can become an effective leader, certainly, isn't it? So because good leaders are made but not born. To some extent they will inherit some genes of their ancestors or of their forefathers. Okay, but most probably they are made rather than being born. Okay, so good leaders, because they develop through a never ending process of self study. To become a good leader, they have their own action plan. So it's a process, it's a never ending process they go through. It's a process of self study, education, maybe training, and sometimes even experience also. To inspire your workers into higher levels of teamwork, there are certain things you must know, and there are certain things you must must do also, because they do not come naturally, but they are acquired, and they are acquired through continual work, continual study, and it's a process by which a person influences others, so to accomplish an objective. Then everybody chooses that particular person as their leader, because they feel that they will be confident of that particular person, and they believe that that person will accomplish any objective, and he directs in a way that makes it more cohesive and coherent. So then only they choose that particular person as their leader. And the leaders of tomorrow, they'll have to establish a real vision, and they should have some sense of values and for the organization they wish to lead. And these leaders, the most important thing is, our lab is communication and life skills. Yes, apart from having life skills, they should have effective communication skills. So these leaders will have to communicate, because they have to communicate, they have to motivate far more effectively than did the leaders of the past, because the competition is such. So the future leaders also, if you want to yourself emerge as a leaders, you need to improve or enhance your communication skills, so that you can effectively communicate whatever you want to communicate to others, so that you can lead them, or so that you can motivate them, or so that you can inspire them, isn't it? Okay, now you have to maintain some good human relations also. So good human relation skills, they have the ability to change people, so from managing others to leading others. Simply managing is not enough, you have to lead them, because people can learn to move from directing to guiding, from competing to collaborating. So from a mode of passivity to a mode of risk taking, a leader should take that risk, and from one view of viewing people as an expense to one of viewing people as an asset, because people become their asset, isn't it? So they can learn how to change lives from resentment to contentment. Okay, so from failure to success. So leader should be such a person who can motivate others, who can lead many. Okay, because no one ever said that these skills would come naturally, and frequently they do not. They should be acquired. Okay, it isn't that easy to know how to provide superior human relationships. So there are few people who do it instinctively. Instinct in the sense their behavior, by their birth, by their behavior. Okay, they do, but most people, they have to be educated regarding that. They have to be trained, okay, to become a good leader, and it takes as much training and as also much sophistication also. So now, coming to so finally we can say that to become a leader, one needs both skill as well as will. He should have first a will to become a leader, then he should acquire some skills to become a leader. If at all he has got some will, and apart from will, if he got some skills, then certainly he can become a leader. Followed? Okay. Now, let me tell you about the traits of an effective leader. Some traits in the sense. So he should be, first thing is adaptability. Attitude always comes first. He should have a optimistic attitude, that we have discussed many times. But apart from attitude, adjusting to any situation, any people, any event, or whatever it is, whether a pleasant situation or an unpleasant situation. Now if you can adapt, then you can emerge as a good leader. Followed? The thing is, you should have what? Adaptability. Adaptability is one of the important trait of an effective leader. And also I can say he should be alert to the social environment around him, and he should be ambitious. Okay, ambitious in the sense will. Okay, ambitious and achievement orientated, and he should be assertive, always positive, everything seeing in a positive corner. Okay, and he should be cooperative. This is something very important. If at all ego dominates, then he can never be cooperative with the group or any mass. And he should be very decisive in the sense he should have that decision taking capability or ability. Okay, and he should be dependable, and everyone should think that they can depend on him if necessary. Okay, and he should be dominant, because he should influence others. At the same time, he should be dominant also. And one more important thing is he should be very energetic, and he should be persistent, and he should be, the more important thing is he should be very confident about himself. So he should be very self-confident, and one more thing, in the process of leading others, certainly he will undergo some stress, and should be able to manage that stress. In the sense, he should have which trait? He should be tolerant of stress. Tolerant of stress in the sense he should be able to manage his stress. Okay, and because a leader certainly should be responsible. He is a responsible person for the entire group or team. So he should be willing to assume responsibility. Always he should be, just now I told you, he should have a will, and just having a will to become a leader is not enough. He should be always willing to assume or take up any responsibility. Okay, so these are some important traits to become an effective leader. Shall I repeat them? Okay, so he should have adaptability, he should be alert to the surroundings around him, he should be ambitious, and he should be assertive, so he should be cooperative, he should be decisive and dependable, as well dominant, as well energetic, persistent. He should be self confident, tolerant of stress, and he should be willing to assume any responsibility. And apart from these traits, there were some other common traits which any human should have, as well a leader should compulsorily necessarily should have. Like he should be committed, he should be disciplined, he should be dedicated, he should be determined, isn't it? He should be punctual, and all he should be friendly. Okay, so those all generally any human should have, and leader should necessarily should have. Okay, so these are some different traits of an effective leader. Followed. Okay, now let me tell you that many people, they still have a narrow understanding of what leadership really is. So you say leader and they think it's something general, president or PM, prime minister or chairman of the board. Obviously people in those exalted positions, they are expected to lead, and an expectation they meet with varying levels of success. But the fact is that leadership does not begin and end at the very top. It's a very every bit as important, perhaps more important, in the places most of us we live, and the places where we work also. There also we can show something leadership qualities, in the sense, now if at all, if you are organizing a small work team, there you can emerge as a leader, and energizing an office support staff, or keeping things happy at home there. If at all, if particularly housewife, okay, mother, your mother is a leader because she always tries to keep things happy at home, and there she in the sense she's showing some leadership qualities over there. Okay, so such small things also can be called as leadership qualities. Okay, and it's never easy leadership, whatever it is, either at home or a team, organizing a team or anything, but it's never easy task. But thankfully something else is also true. Every one of us, we have the potential. Every one of us, we have the potential to become a leader one day, every day. So the team facilitator we can be, and the manager we can be, or it may be an account executive, or the person who works in the mailroom, whoever. But whoever comes in contact with others, he has some good reason to learn how to lead it. So in our day-to-day situations, there will be a situation where we have to lead, we have to necessarily lead. So it is better if we learn about some leadership skills. Okay, so that is a need, there's a need to learn the leadership skills. Okay, because they will determine how much successful you can be in becoming a leader, not just at work, but it may be in a family, or in a charity group, or in a sports team, or some social club, or wherever, whatever it is. But every one of those organizations, they need some dynamic leadership, isn't it? Followed. Okay, so now so that's the reason you have to learn the skills which are related to becoming a leader. Now coming to, so I told you just now, communication is built on trusting relationships, and when you trust the others, you will tend to communicate with others, and you need a following, you need many followers to follow you, so that you can lead them, isn't it? Okay, now coming to, so let me share with you. So in that process of becoming a leader, it's a not easy task. I told you, it's really a very challenging task, becoming a leader. Okay, before that, let me move to the next slide. Now here, particularly speaking, because I admire Dhoni the most, you could see him, because he is particularly, if we speak about sports here, who is a great leader, Mr. Cool, particularly speaking about the cricket. he can be cited as a good example of an effective leader, isn't it? Because there are many admirers of him. Why he has so many followers? Why? Because particularly speaking about myself, my family, and most of my friends, they admire Dhoni the most, because particularly when we speak about cricket in the sense, I look, if I want to speak about some leadership, we have seen many captains, but he emerged to be a good leader, isn't it? Because we'll discuss about the qualities which made him an effective and a great leader. Now moving to the next slide, because he is successful in leading a group, leading the entire team, isn't it? So again, here it is the action of leading a group of people or an organization, or the ability to do this. He is leading. So because he is successful in making a lead, that made him to become an effective leader. Moving to the next slide. So leadership qualities. We shall discuss about the different qualities of a leader. Okay. Just now we have discussed, but still, leader is always a role model for his team, isn't it? Whatever it is, it may be political field or sports or anything or any organization, but here I have taken this particular example because the quality will be the same whatever the field is. Okay. So leader should always remain as a role model. He should remain as a role model for his entire team. Okay. Now moving to our next slide. And one of the qualities of leadership is forward looking. You should always look forward. Okay, whatever the situation is. Sometimes they may be in a situation of panic, but still never look back. So he should have a good quality and a necessary quality. The most essential quality to become a leader is forward looking. He should have that capability or ability of looking always forward. Okay, come on, moving to the next slide. Our eyes. Our eyes are placed in front because it's more important to look ahead than to look back. Imagine that might be the reason our eyes are placed in front rather than in the back. Okay, so our eyes are placed in front because it's more important. It's more important to look ahead than to look back. Followed? Okay, so that might be the reason. Okay, so we should necessarily look forward. Not alone a leader, everyone. Okay. Moving to our next slide. Leadership. Here it's something overlapping. Okay, but so competent. If you could see this, it is a word competent. So another important quality or essential quality a leader should have is he should always be competent. Competent. So in the process of playing also, if the leftovers are very few, but he has to hit the target, then at that time he shouldn't lose his hope and spirit, but he should become more and more competent. Okay, so feeling competent, becoming competent, being competent, it's also an important essential quality a leader should have. Okay, next. I would rather have a competent extremist than an incompetent moderate, isn't it? So a leader always prefer to have a competent extremist. No one likes in competition. No one likes to combat with a moderate person, isn't it? Okay. Now moving to our next slide. So another leadership quality is honesty. Honesty is another important quality. A leader should always be honest. Okay. Next. Moving to our next slide. No legacy is so rich as honesty, isn't it? No legacy is so rich as honesty. Everyone will admire a honest person. Okay. It's the richest legacy. Now, moving to the next slide. Empower people. This is very, very important. The most important. When needed, he will call all his teammates and then he will conduct a meet like this and he will motivate them. Okay, he will boost them, he will recharge them. In the sense, he will say some motivational words that we can fight, don't lose hope. So there is still left. We didn't lose the battle. We can. If we think we can. So telling such words, motivating his teammates, he will be empowering the people. So an essential quality is a leader should have is empowering any group, empowering whenever needed. He is supposed to empower his group. Okay, so that's another important quality a leader should have. Then moving to our next slide. The role of leaders is not making other people to follow them, but to empower others to lead, isn't it? Always a leader shouldn't say his followers to just follow him, but sometimes whenever needed, he should empower others so that they can also lead. It's a quote by Bill George. Okay, before that, let me tell you about, in the process of emerging as a leader, and great leaders might have come across many failures. They might have faced many failures, but still, with a spirit, they again emerge to be leaders after facing many hurdles, many barriers, many obstacles. But they never got demotivated. And because every success story, it will have some failures, because failure is a highway to success. So if you look at the history also, you'll find all the stories, many stories, and you'll see that all stories of success are also stories of great failures, isn't it? So the world only sees success, but they don't see the struggle behind the success. And we say that he got lucky, he must have been at the right place at the right time. No, it's not like that. They might have witnessed many failures, then only one fine day they have encountered success. They have become successful, they have emerged successful. Okay, let me share you about famous life history, particularly speaking about our politics only. So I would like to share your famous life history with you. You know it, I think, but if at all, if some of you you have never listened to, then just listen to me now. So it's about a man, and this man was a man who failed in business at the age of just 21. 21. He failed in what? Business. And then later he was defeated in a legislative race, and that was at the age of 22. Okay, too young. Okay, then he failed again in business at age 24, and later he had his sweetheart die when he was at the age 26, at the age of 26. So look here, how his life is. So he's undergoing all the suffering, and later he had a nervous breakdown at the age of 27, isn't it? 27 is too early to get a nervous breakdown. And then he lost a congressional race at the age 34, and later he lost a senatorial race at the age 45. Imagine. Okay, then he failed in an effort to become VP, I mean vice president, at age 47, and again he lost a senatorial race at the age of 49, and was later he was elected president of the United States at the age of 52. He's struggling since 21. Finally, he could become the president of such a big country, United States of America, at the age 52. This man was none other than who? Yes, your guess is, you can guess it, and it was Abraham Lincoln. It was Abraham Lincoln. So, with these many failures, if Lincoln had quit, probably nobody would have blamed him, but nobody would remember him either, isn't it? So, would you call Lincoln a failure? Can we call him as a failure? He could have quit. He could have hung his head in shame, and he could have gone back to his law practice. But to Lincoln, defeat was a detour, and it was not a dead end for him. So he went on struggling. He went on struggling. He didn't lose his hope. Still fighted. Okay, he has put all his efforts. And the greatest people in the world, they turn a setback into a comeback. Followed now. So he emerged as a great leader, becoming the president of such United States, at that too at the age of 52, isn't it? So it's a great story of success, but behind that, before that, it can also be cited as a great story of failure even. So leaders, they emerge as leaders one fine day, but before emerging as successful leader, before, okay, we know only his success, but behind that success there will be much struggle of him and many failures, but no one, but only few witness it, isn't it? Okay, so it is a story of about Abraham Lincoln. Who? Abraham Lincoln. Hope you understood. Now next, let me also share with you. So because I'll tell you about some leaders, because when we go through some slides, I'll be telling you in brief about the story about the different leadership traits different leaders have. But before that, you now, if for example, if we speak about a corn. So a corn cannot decide whether to become a giant tree, isn't it? Or it cannot decide to become food for the squirrels. It don't know. It doesn't know. So it can become a food for squirrels, or it when planted, okay, when dropped in soil, it can become a giant tree also. So but it doesn't have choice. But we human beings, we have choices. We have choices because we are not like a corn which has no choice. So if nature gives, because nature doesn't give it a choice, but we have a brain to think, so we can ourselves decide what to become. So when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, because certainly sometimes things will go wrong, so you can react responsibly or resentfully. So because we have our choice, we are not like a corn which cannot decide to become what, but we can decide. If at all, if you have a will and if you want to become a leader, definitely you can. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, now let me tell you and one more thing. And will, in the sense, it's nothing but desire, the desire. So the motivation to succeed, it comes from the burning desire only. Because if at all, if we want to achieve a purpose, if we want to achieve a purpose, we should have some burning desire. Intrinsically, we should be motivated. And what Napoleon Hill is a quote, or what he wrote is, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. This same quote I have told you in our previous lesson. I think I told you while discussing attitude or goal setting, but this is something useful to you. So what he wrote is, whatever the mind of man can conceive, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe. If you conceive something, and if at all, if you believe that, definitely the mind can achieve that. Followed? Because burning desire, there should be some burning desire, and it's the starting point of all accomplishments. Here the accomplishment is becoming a leader. Okay, so just like a small fire cannot give much heat, can a small fire give much heat? No. So a weak desire also, it cannot produce great results. It's of no use. Okay, so a small fire cannot give much heat. Similarly, a weak desire, if at all, if your desire is weak, then you can't expect a big result. Okay, and because you should have some commitment and integrity. Speaking about integrity and wisdom, they are the two pillars on which to build, and they are the two pillars on to keep some commitments. So because integrity is keeping your commitment even if you lose money or wisdom. And it's not to make, because you shouldn't make any foolish commitment. If at all, if you make a commitment, that you have to be committed. You have to be committed always. Okay, now coming to, okay, next, I want to tell you about. Just now I told you, a leader should be always a responsible person. He should always be. He should be prepared, or he should be prepared to assume any sort of responsibility. Any sort of responsibility. Okay. Now, responsibility in the sense, now a duty that turns into a desire. Eventually, it turns into a delight also. If at all, if you do your duty as a duty, then can you be delightful? What do you mean by delightful? Happy. If you consider a duty, any profession you take up, if you just mechanically, if you go on doing it as a duty, then you can't derive any pleasure or any delight, or you can never be happy, or you can never be contented, because you are considering it as a duty only. But if at all, if it's your desire, if you really involve in that, if you take up your responsibility and do that particular duty with a desire, followed what I said. If you have desire to do a duty, considering it as your responsibility, then you can derive pleasure or delightness or happiness or contentment out of that duty, doing that duty or performing that duty. Followed? So because, and who will always think of accepting or taking up such responsibilities? People with character. Only people with character, they accept to take new responsibilities, because they want to emerge as a leader. And particularly, a leader should be such a responsible person. He should always be prepared to accept or take up any challenges, or encounter any situation, or deal with any event, whatever it is. Okay, so they make decisions. In that process, they can effectively then take decisions. They make decision, they take decision, and finally they determine their own destiny in their life. Okay, so accepting responsibilities, it involves taking risks. And certainly, when you take up a responsibility, you can't imagine that there will not be any risks. Certainly there will be risks. Okay, they'll move on parallelly, okay, with you. Okay, simultaneously you have to face some risks, and you have to be very accountable, which is sometimes uncomfortable to you, but you are supposed to be accountable. And most people, they would rather stay in their comfort zone only, and they live, because they tend to live passively and without accepting any responsibilities, and they drift through life waiting for things to happen. So they wait for things to happen, okay, but rather than making them happen. But leaders or any persons with character who take up responsibilities, they, instead of waiting for things to happen, followed what I'm saying, instead of waiting for things to happen, they themselves make things happen, okay. They create such a situation and they make things happen. So making things happen is something different from waiting things to happen, okay. Just they don't. And in the sense, earlier I told you, they just allow life to act upon them instead of acting upon the life. Earlier I told you, okay. So now, so accepting responsibilities, it involves taking calculated, not foolish risks. So, and we have to, that risk we take up should be some calculated risk only, okay. It shouldn't be some indulging in something and taking up foolish risk, okay. Then it will become a problem for us. So it means evaluating all the pros and cons we have to evaluate when you take up a responsibility, and then taking the most appropriate decision or action, okay. Then that shows that you are very responsible, okay. You are very responsible. What I said? Responsible. So you have to always try to accept some responsibilities, even then only you can emerge. It's also another trait. Accepting responsibilities is another important trait to become a good leader. And one more thing. And whatever your performance may be, there should be some pride, there should be some pride. If at all there will be some pride in your performance, then there will be many followers. Many will start admiring you, because pride in performance, it does not reflect ego. But pride in the sense, if at all, if you show some pride, if there will be some pride, is it your ego? No, it can never be your ego. So it does not reflect your ego, but it represents your high standards of performance with humility. And the quality of the work and the quality of the worker are generally inseparable. So half-hearted effort does not produce half result, it produces no results only. Because so always, whenever you take up any task or work, you have to do it. A leader should take up the task with full heart, then he can expect good results or fruitful results. Followed. Now, for example, let me tell you something. So there were three people. Three people were laying bricks. They were laying bricks, okay. So a passerby looking at them, he asked them what they were doing. Then the first one replied, because the three of them are doing the same task, laying bricks. So the first one replied, "Don't you see, I am making a living," he said. What did he say? "Don't you see, I am making a living." And the second one said, "Don't you see, I am laying bricks." Straight answer. Okay, the second one said, "Don't you see, I am laying bricks." And the third one said, "I am building a beautiful monument." What did the third one say? Three were doing the same thing, but the third one said, "I am building a beautiful monument." Okay, so here were three people doing the same thing who had totally different perspectives on what they were doing. The thing they were doing was same, but their perspective was different. The three different perspectives you could see. Now here they had three very different attitudes about that same work they were doing. So, and would their attitude affect their performance? Would their attitude? Yes, definitely their attitude would affect their performance. The answer is clearly yes, because people who take pride in performance, they hold themselves accountable to much higher standards of performance than others do. And that pride in performance should always be to emerge as a great leader. Followed? Okay. Now, let me tell you, okay. And there are many wonderful quotes, Once, if you go through, if you browse, you can get many wonderful quotes. And so the one thing is, you should have some ability. If you ability, because if you want to become really a leader, emerge as a leader, then your ability will take you up there. And but to be there only, if you emerge to be a leader, and if you want to continue there only, then you need to have a good character, because it's your character which will keep you up there. Becoming a leader, if you just have your an ability or capability, then you can become a leader, no doubt. Obviously you can become a leader, but if you want to keep yourself up there only, then what's needed? Your character. You need a good character. Followed? Your character will keep you there only. Okay. And always, I told you, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to take up any sort of risk. Okay, without risk, you can't expect any success, because and the risk varies from person to person, of course. And taking up risk, it's also you should be trained enough to take up risks. Okay, so once what's not risky? Everything is risky. Yesterday also I told you in my class, because it's part of our life. Risk taking is part of our life. Many times not taking any risk could become the greatest risk. Okay, so I'll tell you something. So once someone asked a farmer if he had planted wheat for the season. Okay, then the farmer replied, "No, no, I was afraid it wouldn't rain. That's why I didn't plant," he was saying. "No, no, I was afraid it wouldn't rain, so I didn't plant," he said. Then the man asked, "Did you plant corn? Did you plant corn?" Then the farmer said, "No, no, no, I was afraid that insects would eat the corn." Okay, he was afraid again. And then the man asked, "What did you plant?" Then the farmer said, "Nothing. I played it safe," he said. So here in the sense he didn't take any risk, and he left it like that only. So what is the moral? What is the moral of the story? So risk taking is part of life, and many times not taking risk also could become the greatest risk. That's what I wanted to say. So people who risk nothing, they remain doing nothing, and they have nothing, and they become nothing, isn't it? Again I repeat, people who risk nothing, they do nothing, they have nothing, and they become fit for nothing. Okay, so indecision, this is all indecision is habit. It's habit forming and contagious also. If at all, if you be with such persons who never take a decision, then it is contagious something. You will also become like that only. It will spread to you even, and you also become such an indecisive person, unable to take any decision when needed. And a leader should never be like that. He should have the decision making ability. He should have some decision making ability. Followed? Okay. So now, how would we like to be remembered? That's something very important. How would we like to be remembered? Okay, we have lived our living. Okay, after, yes, then one fine day, you know one fine day, what will happen to us? We will die, because you can't predict your future, and anything may happen. But we worry much. How would you like to be remembered? I'm asking you a question. How would you like to be remembered? How would I like to be remembered? Isn't it? So sometimes, because after our death, we many go through our name in some obituary column in some newspaper, isn't it? Some newspaper. But everyone, we want to be remembered by many. Even after death also, we want to be remembered by many. And it's only the little things that make a big difference, but we have to leave a legacy. When we leave, we have to leave a legacy, and we should be remembered by anyone, by everyone, isn't it? Because we are much worried while living. Only we are much worried after our death, how will people think about us? So because we have to be a person of values, and particularly when you become a leader, and people never forget a leader, he will be in the memory of many for a longer time, isn't it? So we have to leave a legacy, and we have to live by design, not by default. Okay, we have to live by legacy. We have to live by design. We have to leave a legacy, and we have to live by design, not by just default. Okay, so for example, if at all something happened and your life was saved at some point of your life was saved, then we learn much out of it. Let me tell you something. So what difference we make is big or small, it does not matter. But if everyone makes a small difference, we end up with a big difference. Look here. Now, I'll tell you a story. It's not a story actually, but so a boy was drowning in a river, and he shouted for help. A boy was drowning in a river, and he shouted for help. So a man risked his own life, and he jumped into the water, and he saved that boy's life. Okay, he rescued that boy's life. And as the man was leaving, the boy, certainly we express our gratitude, isn't it? So the boy stopped him and said, "Thank you." Then the man asked, "For what?" Then the boy replied, "For saving my life," he said. So the man looked into the boy's eyes and said, "Son, make sure when you grow up that your life was worth saving. Remember, son, when you grow up, because I have helped you, again, I saved your life and it's your new life now. So make sure that when you grow up, your life that you have to remember that you have to make sure that your life was worth saving. In the sense, you have to live a very good life. That was a message given by. You need not express your gratitude, but he said that way, isn't it? Okay. So we see many leaders. We see many leaders. One day, so just like Alfred Nobel, supposing one day we were to read our own obituary, then how would we like to be remembered? Just now I told you, we don't want to be remembered by many even after death as a rascal or as a cheat or as a crooked person or someone who left this world little better place than he found it. Okay, so now we expect our legacy to be like something. Okay, so let me tell you, once a crooked politician, once when many enter into politics, they become crooked. Okay, earlier they may be gentle or good persons, gentlemen, but later one fine day, they become materialistic and they become crooked. Only few are left without becoming crooked, or they emerge to be true leaders like some Abdul Kalam or some few are there, but we find only few these days. Okay, so once a crooked politician, he died, and there was a huge funeral procession. There, because we don't leave the dead body like that, whether he's crooked or good, but there will be a procession. So knowing the politician rather well, a passerby asked, why is there such a big procession for such a crooked man? Everyone knows that he's a crooked man because many are waiting for that fellow. Okay, so to get rid of that fellow. So why is there such a big procession for such a crooked man? This passerby asked one of the person who was part of that procession. Okay, then the man replied, to make sure he's dead. Followed now. To make sure he is dead. Isn't it? So we shouldn't leave such a legacy when we leave this world. So be cautious. Okay. Now, let me tell you about. Now, I also told you that apart from these, some important. You should be a leader. Should be okay, responsible. Okay, very hardworking, determined, committed. Now he should be exemplary. Many are there. Many traits he should have. Many characters he should imbibe or acquire in the process of becoming a leader. And also, I told you communication also. Then we have to be a leader. Should be very he should be very quick to admit mistakes. If at all he commits some mistakes, he should be very quick to admit himself, and he should be very when there is a need for him to criticize others, he should be very slow to criticize. But when he commits any mistakes, he should be very quick in that. While admitting mistakes, should be very quick, and when in the process of criticizing others, okay, the opponent, he should be very slow. So that's an important character. Then only he can survive. Okay, and above all, he should be constructive. Always he should have a constructive mindset. And leadership, it starts out with the whole issue of integrity only, and it should be very credible. And so you have to be and also you should have to be believed, and you should be believable. You have to be a person who honors his or own word. He should have first, if at all he says something, he promises something, then he should honor his own word first thing, because everybody, so that he should be trustworthy, so that everybody can believe him or accept him. And because he should be trustworthy. That's some important character a leader should have. Followed. Okay, and now I told you many characters. So those are some important good qualities a leader should have. Certainly he should have. Followed. And also because these are something to be acquired and can be acquired in the process of becoming. And he should be very enthusiastic, even very enthusiastic. And always not only a leader, everyone, we should always surround ourselves with happy and successful people. Always with happy and successful people. And because whenever, if at all, if you surround yourself with negative people, you may lose your character. And if your friends and your peers and the people you respect and the people that you are reading about, if they are enthusiastic, if they are confident, because you can learn much about them, and because they'll become part of your team. Because it's almost impossible to underestimate the power of enthusiasm. But every person to triumph or to become or to emerge something, and then they will have a great enthusiasm. So they'll be very inquisitive. Okay, this word I'm repeating since 3 days. Okay, because without enthusiasm, once Ralph Waldo Emerson, he said, nothing great was ever achieved without it. Without what? Without enthusiasm. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. And the same was true in the civil rights movement also. Okay, and that helped him to find America. That was true. It was true of the founding of America also. It's just as true of all big companies today only, because everybody, they'll be enthusiastic and then they'll work hard, because it's an important ability, as important as hard work. Enthusiasm is also as important as hard work, remember. And we know many people who are brilliant, and we know many people, they will be brilliant, but they accomplish nothing, because of lack of enthusiasm only. And we all know people who work hard, but they get nowhere. Why? Because lack of enthusiasm. And but because people who work hard, they love their jobs and they convey enthusiasm, those are the ones who are going places. Okay, so enthusiasm is also one another quality a leader should have, necessarily have. Okay, and we can say there are many other qualities. He should be always exemplary. He should himself set as an example, and if you're feeling bored with life, then the people around you will be falling asleep as well. So if you are sarcastic, if you are and antagonistic, then they will be too. And if you are lukewarm, then they will never boil. You have to make them boil. In the sense, you should boil yourself. Okay, so you should never be lukewarm. Okay, you should be enthusiastic. And watch, then you, if you try to be enthusiastic, then you watch the impact that has on the people around you. Certainly it will have greater impact, so they'll grow more productive and they'll be eager to follow you. Okay, so passions, remember, are more powerful than cold ideas. Always you should have a great zeal, you should have passion for everything. Okay, for all the good qualities to get acquired, to imbibe, there should be a passion, desire, strong desire, zeal, we can say. So they are more powerful than cold ideas, and genuine enthusiasm is contagious. Nothing wrong if at all genuine enthusiasm is contagious. Yes, you can spread it too fast and you can make everyone around you more enthusiastic. That's a good quality. So what's wrong in if it is contagious? Followed. You know what's meant by contagious. And so, because never you have to underestimate the power of enthusiasm. You have to make things happen. Never wait for things to happen. I told you just now, isn't it? So that should be your spirit. That should be your spirit. Followed. And also you have to look at things from the other person's perspective. And you have to, whenever you think that some others in your group or someone working under you, you are the leader, though you are a leader. If someone has given some genuine suggestions, or if they are very good than you, okay, something praiseworthy, then you have to offer some genuine appreciation and you have to praise them. You have to harness the mighty power of enthusiasm, and you have to respect the dignity of others. Even leader alone, you shouldn't think always that you are something great, but at the same time you have to respect the dignity of others. Then only you can be a democratic leader. Okay, and don't be overly critical, because no one will admire you, no one will like you. They'll stop liking you. Stop, because out of fear they may admire you, but they will not have respect for you. Okay, so don't be overcritical also, because they will be fed up with you. And give people a good reputation to live up to. And you have to keep a sense of fun also. That's also something more important, so that the others under you, or part of you, or team, or organization, or anyone, they will be willing to share whatever they feel like, because if you maintain some close relationship with him, and sometimes if you have some sense of fun, they will share anything, their grief or their memories or their moments or something good or bad, they will tend to share with you. And then only you can have balance in your life. Then only you can export some balance in your life. So some words you have to, what all I told you, you have to take some words to heart, because then only you can find a leader in you. Because everybody you can become a leader, and everyone has got a leader inside you. Okay, if at all you want to become a leader, then there is a leader in you. Okay, inside you. So you have to acquire such qualities. Necessarily you have to acquire such qualities. I'm always repeating the word necessarily, because they are very important. Okay, now moving to our next slide. Okay, great personality. Okay, Who is he? Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. You know, here is a quote by him. What's it? Strength does not come from physical capacity. Okay, you can become physically strong, but mental strength is more important to become a leader than physical strength. Okay, there are many lean personalities who emerged as great leaders. So in the sense, strength does not come from physical capacity, but it comes from an indomitable will. In the beginning only I told you, you should have will as well as skill. Okay, so it comes from an indomitable will. As a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. You know well about Gandhi. He was an empowering leader, and he inspired all the Indians to understand and learn resistance through his non-violent civil disobedience movement. As a great leader with his weapon of non-violence, we became free only because of him, isn't it? Many others admire many other great personalities like Bose, Bhagat Singh. Okay, there are many. We have to always they are we have to remember their sacrifices because okay. But so speaking about Gandhi, he was one of the empowering leader with many good qualities and traits. Okay, and another quote here: leadership is about empowering others to achieve things they did not think possible. Actually, they thought that many leaders thought that many things are impossible, but okay, impossible in the word itself, I am possible, isn't it? We often listen to that. I am possible is there in the word impossible. So, leaders, because of great leaders, they empowered many and made many things impossible. They made them possible. Okay, now it was a quote by Simon Sinek. And moving to our next slide. Who is he? Do you know him? Yeah, is very famous with his speech I have a dream. His speech I have a dream became very famous. Okay, so you do listen to that particular speech, you browse about that and you'll get it. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr. What he's saying: if you can't fly, then run. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, what you do? Then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Great indeed, isn't it? So moving forward is important. Forward looking, a leader should always look forward, and we have to always move forward, whatever the situation is, whatever the crisis is, whatever the okay, many hurdles you face, obstacles you face, but still we have to think always to move forward, because here can't fly, run, walk, can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, in the sense, you have to move forward. And speaking about him, let me in brief tell about him. So he was an African American minister and activist, and he is the most visible spokesperson even and leader in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. So he organized many non-violent protests. Remember, non-violent protests for freedom, for peace, for equality between blacks and whites. You know, there was racial discrimination. He fought, Mandela fought, many fought. Okay, and he's famous for his non-violent protests between blacks and whites, and he fought much for freedom, for peace, and for equality. Okay, and do listen to his speech. I have a dream. I have a dream. He was a great leader. Okay, moving to our next, again back to Dhoni. Inspire. Yes, he inspires many, you know. I need not tell you. Okay, particularly to this generation. In most of my slides, you can see him only because I am a great follower of Dhoni. Okay, coming to a true leader. What a true leader? He has the confidence. He has the confidence to stand alone. Yeah, stand alone. The courage to make tough decisions when needed, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. This is a very important thing, having compassion. So he should be always, a leader should be a listener, a good listener. He should have patience and compassion to listen to the needs of others. Okay, he should give moral support to his members. Okay, their personal problems or professional, whenever necessary, he has to listen, and he should have the courage to take tough decisions, and to stand alone he should have that enough confidence, and he does not set out to be a leader but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. Okay, so he should be unbiased. Okay, he should never be partial to some and supporting only a few, but he should be, in his actions he should show equality. Okay, he should have compassion. Now moving to our next slide. Now here is another great personality. Who is he? Winston Churchill. Yeah, Winston Churchill. What is he saying? A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. Yeah, a pessimist is pessimist. I told you earlier when I told about attitude. So always a pessimist, there will be some persons who find problems for every solution, isn't it? I told you. So a pessimist, a negative attitude person, he sees the difficulty in every opportunity, and but an optimist, he sees the opportunity in every difficulty. In every difficulty he will see some opportunity, some good. Okay, so it's a popular quote by Winston Churchill. Now speaking about Winston Churchill is a great leader, and he was a British statesman, and he was an army officer prior to that, and he became PM of United Kingdom, from 1940 to 45, and he led the country to victory in the Second World War. He was such a great personality. Okay, in Second World War. Okay, now he's also one of the greatest leader. And next, moving to our next slide. To be inspired, to be inspired is great, but to inspire is incredible. Something great, more great. Okay, so to be inspired, if we get inspired listening to somebody, okay, then that is nothing that great. It's great, of course, but if at all, if you inspire somebody by your living, okay, through your actions, then that is something great, still great, incredible. So a leader should certainly be incredible. He's supposed to inspire many. Okay, moving to our next slide. Another quality, just now I told you, leadership is set example. He should himself set as an example. In the sense, he should be exemplary. He should himself be exemplary. Okay, moving to our next slide. He should be a role model. I told you in the beginning only. He didn't tell me, he just showed me. In the sense, he's exemplary. Okay, he did not tell, simply by his living, looking at his lifestyle. Okay, we can learn much, and he showed that, just he showed. Okay, now another personality is a leader. Okay, surround yourself. He's Bill Gates. Who is he? Bill Gates. Okay, surround yourself with people. Surround yourself. Now, okay, I need not tell much about Dhoni, isn't it? Because Dhoni, in the sense, no, always a person who stays calm no matter what the situation is. Okay, we call him as a, particularly now, because again I'm specifying about him, because as a leader, in the process of telling about great leaders, I would like to tell two or more sentences about Dhoni. We say him as Mr. Coolest person. Whatever situation is, he always remains cool, and popularly we call him as MSD. And because what is the most important quality which we can learn from Dhoni is that he always stays grounded. To stay grounded is something incredible. We see him never getting depressed after a defeat, and also we see him, he never jumps after a win. He stays grounded in the sense, never getting depressed after a defeat, or never jumping after a win, isn't it? And whenever there is something, okay, if India wins a match, okay, if we win a match, then what he do? He shares the credit to all. He shares the credit. But whenever we lose, if we lose something, a match, then he says that, I think I am the responsible person, because I should have sent that particular person as a first bowler, or second, in the second order, I should have sent that person, because I have not planned perfectly. We could have made enough practice prior to the match. I think we felt overconfident. That might be the reason for our fail. He will be saying like that in his comments. He's a very fluent speaker. I admire his communication skills. And so whenever there is some credit, he'll be sharing that, isn't it? So that a leader is supposed to do. So that's why Dhoni, he's a great leader. He sets himself as a role model, and he's an exemplary. He can be said as an exemplary. Okay, and he can be called as an ambassador of hope and possibility for youngsters who dream big. Okay, now coming to Bill Gates. So Bill Gates, here what he's saying, surround yourself with people who challenge you, who teach you, and who push you to be your best self. We have to surround with such people who challenge you, who teach us, who challenge us, who push us to the best self. Then automatically we'll become a better personality. And speaking about Bill Gates, he's an excellent model of how transformational qualities can help to create or to become a successful leader. And because he proves that individual human spirit is which makes us unique. He himself proved like that. And also he also says that influence of parents and mentors, that their influence plays a critical role, a crucial role in creating the legends. Okay, so leadership, we can call him as a leadership legend, and legend entrepreneur we can say him as. So he's an excellent model, excellent model of a successful leader. We can learn much. Okay, such a simple personality. Okay, now there's another quote here. But a role model in the flesh provides more than inspiration. His or her very existence is confirmation of possibilities. One may have every reason to doubt, saying, yes, someone like me can do this. Okay? It's also something about leadership only. So it's a role model. Leaders are role models in flesh, in the sense. And leadership qualities again lead change. So you need to bring some change. You need to bring some change. Bringing change is something inevitable in the process of leading a group. Okay. Now next, don't expect to see a change. A leader never should expect to see a change. But if you don't make one, he should make a change. Instead of expecting to see a change, so he should himself make a change. Make one in the sense, make a change. Okay. Now moving to our next slide. Oh, the personality. A great personality indeed. Because helping hands are greater always than praying lips, isn't it? Okay, so whenever we see her, we remember that quote. So, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family, she's saying. So, now what to speak about Mother Teresa? She is a great, she can be said a selfless servant leader. She's a leader, selfless servant leader. Leader in the sense, different leader, okay, who dedicated her entire life to making others live better, isn't it? She dedicated her entire life because she wanted others to live better. And her missionaries of charity, she had around 610 missions in 123 countries all over the globe, and they served people suffering from HIV or suffering from tuberculosis or leprosy, etc., etc. Okay, so great selfless servant leader. Okay, hats off to her. Okay. Okay, we never can find such a great personality ever and ever. Okay, now another quote here. Moving to the next. So change is the only constant in life. Yeah, yes, it's true. Indeed, it's true. And shared vision. Another leadership quality is shared vision. Here now the present captain and the former captain. So Kohli many times he tweeted saying that my guru is Dhoni, because many think that there is a conflict, but no, it's not true. His role model, he says, is Dhoni himself. Okay, so because a leader should have shared vision, he learned much from Dhoni, it seems. Okay, so a leader should necessarily have some shared vision. If the vision, if we have a vision, if we keep it with us, if a leader keeps the vision, if we don't share the vision to his teammates or others, then never that vision can be turned into a reality. Okay, so a leader should have shared vision. Okay, now leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality, because one fine day vision should turn into reality, isn't it? We should make our vision as a reality, and that can be done only by an effective leadership. And leadership is such capacity which can translate or transform vision into reality. Okay, moving to our next slide. Who is he? Mandela, Nelson Mandela. Yes. What he's saying, a winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Yes, he never gave up anything. So even he went to jail even for. Yes, I'll tell you about him. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Yes, exactly. It's true. It's true. 100% true. He was the country's first black person, head of the state. And he was elected in a fully representative democratic, election. And he was in jail for about 27 years. He spent in jail. And, on the day of his release, he was greeted. That was very something great event, And he promoted a message of forgiveness and equality. He fought against racial discrimination. And he's a great leader. And he never gave up fighting for the rights of blacks. Okay. And moving to our next slide, a leader has a vision and conviction that a dream can be achieved, and he inspires the power and energy to get it done. Yeah, a leader always has a vision and a conviction. And moving to our next slide, you add value to people when you value them, isn't it? When you value others only, then others will value you, isn't it? Particularly about a leader. Yeah. Next, about another great personality. He's the most familiar personality all over the globe. So he's none other than Abdul Kalam. Okay. To succeed in your mission, you must have single minded devotion to your goal. Yeah, if you focus on something at a time, only on one thing, certainly you will be committed to that. What to speak of Kalam? He's a great leader, he's a great God to children, even. He was a great human being rather than a leader. We can say he was a great human being, and he's a realistic dreamer. And he emphasized that leaders should have a vision. Yeah, he's such a great personality. We can learn much from him. And coming to leadership, some more qualities: honest dealings, predictable reactions, well controlled emotions, and an absence of when controlled emotions. A leader should be able to manage his emotions, and the absence of tantrums and harsh outbursts are all the signs of integrity. And a leader who is centered in integrity will be more approachable by followers. Yes, there should be access to a leader. Leader should be accessible. Okay, and some more qualities. Moving to the next slide. A leader must be assertive, always positive. Okay, to get the desired results. And next, moving to the next slide. Being inspiring means showing people the big picture and helping them see beyond a narrow focus and understand how their part fits into the big picture. Yes, we always end to aim at a big picture, and a leader should make all the participants to be part of that big picture. In the sense, he should inspire them. Okay. And coming to this, is the most important thing. I'll within no time I'll end. Okay, I'll conclude. But let me tell about the last objective, the leadership styles. So coming to, there are three different, primarily we can say autocratic, bureaucratic, and democratic. So coming to autocratic leadership, so it's an extreme form of transactional leadership where leaders have absolute power over their workers or team. So if a leader shows power, then we say it as autocratic leadership. Here, the leader, he is an individual who controls all the decisions, and little input from the group. He will be taking only little input from the group members, and if at all, if the group members advise something or suggest something, he will accept. So he's something dictatorial. Okay, we can say some examples like Adolf Hitler, dictator, autocratic leadership. Napoleon, Queen Elizabeth, they are some examples of autocratic leadership. Now moving to our next slide. Okay, he's another personality. Who is he? Washington. Okay, George Washington. To say about George Washington, he is a man of great integrity, great dignity, wisdom, courage, and he was a strength of character. And he was the first president of US. What he's saying, associate yourself with men of good quality. The same thing. If you esteem your own reputation, you should be associated with good quality persons. Okay, it's better to be alone than bad company. If at all, if you can't find any good personalities, better remain alone but never be with bad company. Saying, so he was the first president of US and great leader. Okay. Now moving to our next slide, coming to bureaucratic. Bureaucratic leaders work by the book. They follow the books only rigorously. They go by rules only. Okay, they will be only adhering themselves or fixing to a system of rules. They will perform some fixed official duties. They don't go beyond that. Okay, and that leadership we call it as bureaucratic leadership. And one example I can say is about Colin Powell, an American politician. Okay, now moving to our next slide. Some charismatic leadership is another type of leadership. Charismatic leaders, they inspire lots of enthusiasm in their teams, and everybody will like them. Okay, so they imbibe or they inculcate or enthusiasm in their followers. And just okay, here I have in this slide, actually she is supposed to be before, but okay. Now who is she? She is Aung San Suu Kyi. Okay, now coming to her, what is she saying? The only real prison is fear, and the only real freedom is freedom from fear. Okay, so freedom from fear is the only freedom, she's saying, and fear itself is a real prison according to her. And speaking about her, we can say she's the leader of National League for Democracy, and she's a Burmese politician, and she's a diplomat and author. And she was a great leader, and she received Nobel Prize in the year 1991, Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, now, And another leadership, the last type of leadership is democratic. We have discussed earlier autocratic, bureaucratic, charismatic, and now coming to democratic. Democratic leaders, they make final decisions. They invite other members of the team to contribute to decision making process. So they involve everyone. They other like just antonym of autocratic. Okay, they invite the decision. They seek decisions from their members. So they participate. They are participative. That we can say it as participative leadership or shared leadership. So members of group, they have some participative role in the decision making process, and that we say it as democratic leadership. And Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, American politician, can be cited as one democratic leader, and he was the 35th president of United States. Okay. Again, coming to Abraham Lincoln, the best way, I told you about his failure story. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Yes, he created it at the age of 52. Okay. Now coming to our next slide, some writings about leadership. You please go through, at least you browse about them. You go through the gist of that summary, or Wikipedia at least. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a very good. Then you can become a leader after going through this book. And also The Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Okay, so powerful lessons are there. You can change your personality. And another book, Hero. So please go through these books. Followed? And next, moving to our next slide activity, I want to give, because the time is flying, okay, I want to give some activity. Name any 5 leaders you admire. Name any 5 leaders you admire, and I want you to also list out the qualities you like in them. Followed? Name any 5 leaders you admire, and whatever the field may be, okay, and what are the qualities you like in them. I want you to write them out. Okay. And assignment, what should be the qualities of a good leader? Because I told you just now, many qualities a good leader supposed to have. So I want you to write all the qualities of a good leader. All the qualities of here. The earlier question was the 5 leaders you admire, and in general sense, what should be the qualities of a good leader? Followed? Okay. Now, so hope you understood much in the today's lesson about what the qualities a good leader should have, and what qualities can be acquired to become a good leader, or leaders are born or made. And I have introduced you many personalities. Some may be familiar to you and some may not be familiar to you, unfamiliar. But still, I hope you have learned much about leadership skills, and I hope you will also be, whether it is a class, becoming a CR is also, yes, CR is certainly definitely a leader, because he has already acquired some qualities. We represent him as a CR, isn't it? We make him as a CR. So it may be in sports or anything, but in future, if at all, if you have the will and skill, definitely you can emerge to be a good leader. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and all the best. I wish you could be successful leaders in your future. And in our next class, I'll be before you with another new topic. Thank you, children. Thank you for your patient listening. Okay, good luck. Wish you